Most avoidant relationships don't work. I know that's not what some of you want to hear, but I'm not here to sell you fantasy. I'm not going to tell you that if you love them hard enough, they'll suddenly become emotionally available. I'm not going to tell you that patience fixes everything. And I'm definitely not going to tell you to spend the next 5 years waiting for someone who keeps breaking your heart. Because most of these relationships end the same way. One person exhausted, one person confused. One person trying harder and harder while the other keeps pulling further away. So why even ask the question, can it work with an avoidant? Because sometimes, rarely, but sometimes it can. And when it does, there are usually a few things happening. The first one is this. The anxious person stops chasing. And before anyone gets defensive, I'm not blaming the anxious person. I'm saying chasing doesn't work. It doesn't. Longer texts don't work. Explaining yourself for the 10th time doesn't work. Trying to make them understand your pain doesn't work. Checking if they're online doesn't work. Analyzing every little shift in their tone doesn't work. The more you chase, the more pressure they feel. The more pressure they feel, the more they pull away. And now you're both trapped in the same exhausting dance. You feel abandoned, they feel overwhelmed. You ask for more, they give less. You panic, they disappear. That cycle can destroy people. So if it's going to work, the anxious person has to become more secure. Not cold, not detached, not emotionless. Secure, meaning your whole nervous system is no longer hanging on their next message. You stop treating every delay like danger. You stop trying to force certainty out of someone who may not be able to give it. And you become willing to face the truth. This relationship may not work. That's terrifying, but it's also powerful. Because once you can survive that truth, you can stop negotiating from fear. Now, the second thing. The avoidant has to genuinely want the relationship. This is where people waste years. They ask, how do I get my avoidant to change? Wrong question. The real question is, do they actually want this with you? Not vaguely, not sometimes, not when they're lonely, not when they need comfort, not when they want attention. Do they actually want you in their life? Because if they don't, nothing else matters. You can heal, you can grow, you can become the most secure person on earth, but you still can't build a relationship alone. They have to want it. And wanting it means more than saying, I care about you. It means choosing you with behavior, effort, consistency, repair, presence. That's how you know. The third thing is this. The avoidant has to stretch. Not become a different person. Not become anxious. Not become a therapist. But stretch. They have to become a little more communicative. A little more emotionally available. A little more willing to say, I'm overwhelmed, but I'm not leaving. A little more willing to repair instead of disappear. Because here's the truth. A relationship cannot survive on one person's growth. It can't. If only one person is doing all the emotional work, that's not healing. That's unpaid labor. Both people have to move. The anxious person moves toward calm. The avoidant person toward openness. The anxious person stops chasing. The avoidant stops disappearing. That's the middle. And if both people can keep moving toward that middle, there may be something real to build. Now, here's another piece people don't like. The anxious person has to stop making the avoidant responsible for their entire sense of safety, because that's too much pressure for any human being. If your peace depends completely on how fast they text, how warmly they respond, how much reassurance they give, you're not in love. You're in survival mode. Real security is when you know, I want this relationship, but I will survive without it. That's when everything changes. You stop begging. You stop auditioning. You stop trying to squeeze love out of someone. You begin watching the relationship clearly, and that brings us to the final question. Is the relationship actually good enough? Not the potential, not the fantasy, not what it could become one day. The relationship now. Does it give you enough peace, enough warmth, enough honesty, enough effort, enough consistency, enough respect, enough joy? Because some people stay for chemistry, some people stay for history, some stay for the version of the person they saw for 2 weeks at the beginning. Some stay because they're terrified of losing the possibility. But possibility is not partnership. If the actual relationship isn't good enough, you can't live inside the fantasy forever. So can it work with an avoidant? Yes. but not because you loved them enough, not because you waited long enough, not because you tolerated enough pain. It can work only when both people are willing to grow. The anxious person becomes more grounded, the avoidant becomes more emotionally present. Both people take responsibility, both people stretch, both people repair, both people want a relationship enough to protect it. That's rare, but it exists. As the heartbreak guy, I want to tell you the truth. Don't stay because you're hoping they'll become someone else. Stay only if the person in front of you is actually showing you through consistent behavior that they want to build something healthier with you. And if they're not, then love yourself enough to stop calling pain potential. If you're trying to heal from an avoidant relationship, or you're tired of trying to figure it all out by yourself, I'd love to invite you to join my Skool community. This isn't just another online group. It's a community of people who truly understand heartbreak, avoidant relationships, anxious attachment, trauma bonds, and everything that comes with them. It's a place where you can ask questions, share your thoughts, talk about your struggles, celebrate your progress, and connect with like-minded people who are committed to healing and building healthier relationships. Every month, I'll also be teaching 3 live 90-minute workshops where we'll go much deeper into these topics than I ever can here in these videos. We'll learn together, answer questions together, and support one another as we grow. Membership is just $99 per month. If you're ready to stop trying to heal alone and become part of a community that's committed to real healing and real growth, I'd love to have you with us. You'll find the link below. I'm Daniel Michael, the Heartbreak Guy, and remember this: a relationship only works when 2 people are protecting it. If you're the only one carrying it, you're not building a future, you're carrying a burden.